Hey, everybody, and welcome back for another deep dive. You know, sugar is bad, so we're all told to drink diet soda, but then those get demonized too. So today, we're going to figure out once and for all if your daily Diet Coke is really that bad.
It's a question we get all the time.
We're looking at this article called, Is Your Daily Diet Coke Really That Bad? And luckily, I've got our expert here to help break it all down.
Yeah, it's a tough one. There's so much back and forth about it all.
It bevrement is. All right, so Diet Coke first came out back in '82, right? And Coca-Cola was going after the baby boomers with it. The article said they were getting 20 years older and 20 pounds heavier. Kind of a low blow, don't you think?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But, it says a lot about what people were thinking about food and health back then. Like in the 80s, everybody was starting to learn about how bad sugar is, but they also still wanted to, enjoy what they were eating and drinking. So Diet Coke kind of let them have their cake and eat it too.
Makes sense. So it was all about that sweet taste without the sugar. But what exactly makes Diet Coke sweet then?
So that's where aspartame comes in. It's a artificial sweetener, but it's like way sweeter than sugar, like 200 times sweeter. So you only need a tiny bit to make something taste just as sweet. That's why it got so popular for all the diet drinks.
Okay, so aspartame, that's the ingredient that seems to be at the center of all the controversy. And, we've all heard those rumors like aspartame causes cancer, aspartame's poison.
Yeah, aspartame has been in the hot seat for years. And just last year, the WHO classified it as possibly carcinogenic to humans.
Oh, wow.
The evidence isn't super strong for that.
So what does that even mean for us Diet Coke drinkers then?
Well, the WHO and the FDA both set what they call an acceptable daily intake for aspartame. Basically, that's how much they think is safe to have every day without it causing problems. The WHO's is 40 milligrams for every kilogram of body weight, and the FDA's is 50 milligrams.
Okay, so time for some math. Let's say you weigh 154 pounds, which is about 70 kilograms. That means you could have 2,800 milligrams of aspartame every day and still be under the limit. A 12-ounce can of Diet Coke has about 200 milligrams of aspartame.
So you could technically drink 14 cans a day. Obviously, nobody's recommending that. Yeah. But it does put things in perspective.
14 cans? That's wild. But I guess it shows that 1 or 2 cans a day isn't going to kill you.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that even though the FDA doesn't agree with the WHO about aspartame being possibly carcinogenic, they still set a pretty similar limit for how much you can have. That kind of tells you that both organizations think it's okay to have some aspartame as long as you don't go overboard.
Gotcha. So maybe aspartame's not the villain we thought it was, but there's other stuff in Diet Coke too. What else should we be thinking about?
Aspartame gets all the attention, but there's another ingredient that's worth mentioning. Phosphoric acid. That's what makes Diet Coke tangy, but it might not be so great for your teeth.
Wait, so that fizzy taste could be messing with our smiles.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah.
Phosphoric acid can wear away your tooth enamel, which can lead to cavities, and even make your teeth change color. Plus, it can lower the calcium in your body, which can be a problem for your bones, especially if you're not getting enough calcium from your diet.
Yikes. I'm not feeling so good about my Diet Coke now. So when you see people who drink a lot of soda and their teeth are kind of yellow, that's the phosphoric acid, huh?
Pretty much.
Not a good look.
Definitely not. And then there's the caffeine, too. How much caffeine is in a Diet Coke?
It's got 46 milligrams per can. The FDA recommends no more than 400 milligrams per day for most adults.
Let's do that math again. That's like 4 cups of coffee, or hold on a sec, over 8 cans of Diet Coke. I don't know about you, but I don't think I could handle 8 cans of anything in one day.
I hear ya. And while a little caffeine can be nice too much, can make you anxious, jittery, or even give you heart palpitations.
So we've got aspartame, phosphoric acid, and caffeine. Lots to think about. But the big question is, how bad is it really to have a Diet Coke every day? Can we enjoy our fizzy drinks or what?
That's the tricky part. It depends on a lot of things, like your overall health, your diet, and your lifestyle.
Okay, so what's the verdict? Is that daily Diet Coke a deal breaker, or can we sip in peace? Well, the article we're looking at says that if you're a healthy person and you eat a balanced diet and you mostly drink water, a daily Diet Coke probably isn't going to hurt you.
Okay, that's good to know. So it's not like an automatic no-no, but I'm guessing there's more to it than that.
Right.
It's not like we can just go crazy with the Diet Coke.
Right context is key.
Yeah.
If you have some health problems, you might want to be a little more careful about how much Diet Coke you drink. And even if you're healthy, it's important to think about your overall diet.
So one Diet Coke in a sea of healthy choices probably isn't going to do much damage. But if you're eating a bunch of processed food and sugary stuff, then that daily Diet Coke might not be helping.
Exactly. And it's worth thinking about why you're drinking Diet Coke in the first place. Are you really craving the taste, or are you just trying to satisfy a sweet tooth?
Never thought about it that way. If it's all about the sweetness, maybe there are better ways to get your fix. The article even talked about trying seltzer. It gives you that bubbly feeling without all the artificial sweeteners and stuff.
Yeah, and there's so many different kinds of seltzer these days. Lots of them have natural fruit flavors, too. You could even add a splash of juice to plain seltzer if you want a little sweetness.
And of course, there's always good old-fashioned water. It might not be as exciting as Diet Coke, but it's what our bodies really need.
Absolutely. Staying hydrated is so important for our health.
So we've covered a lot. The history of Diet Coke, the aspartame debate, other ingredients to watch out for, even some healthier alternatives. But let's bring it all together. What have we learned about this daily Diet Coke habit?
Well, first of all, even though the WHO says aspartame is possibly carcinogenic, both the WHO and the FDA have set limits for how much is safe to have each day. And those limits are actually pretty high. So having a moderate amount of Diet Coke probably isn't going to increase your risk of cancer very much.
But we can't forget about those other ingredients like phosphoric acid, which we know can be bad for our teeth and our bones, and caffeine, which can cause problems if we have too much.
Exactly. And I think the biggest takeaway is that the effects of a daily Diet Coke really depend on the person.
Yeah.
Their health, their diet, their lifestyle, it all plays a role.
So the article says that for someone who eats a balanced diet and lives a healthy lifestyle, a daily Diet Coke is probably fine. But that doesn't mean it's a free pass. Moderation is key, and it's always a good idea to choose healthier drinks like water or seltzer whenever you can.
Absolutely. And if you're still not sure about whether or not you should be drinking Diet Coke, it's always best to talk to your doctor. They can give you advice based on your specific situation.
Good advice. So, dear listener, we've given you the knowledge, the facts, and the expert opinions. Now it's time to think about your own habits. Knowing what we've talked about today, how does your daily Diet Coke fit into the picture? Is it just a homeless treat, a habit you want to break, or somewhere in between?
That's the question, isn't it? There's no right or wrong answer. But hopefully this deep dive has helped you figure out what's best for you.
Well said. And on that note, if you'll excuse me, I think I'm going to grab a seltzer, or maybe just one Diet Coke for old time's sake.
I think that's a great point. Ultimately, it really comes down to personal choice. We've laid out the science, weighed the pros and cons, and now each listener can take that information and make the decision that feels best for their own health and well-being.
You know, it's funny, we often get so caught up in analyzing individual foods or ingredients, but like you said, it's all about the big picture.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance, enjoying things we love while still being mindful of our health. And remember, a healthy lifestyle goes beyond just what we eat and drink. Things like regular exercise, managing stress, and getting enough sleep all contribute to our overall well-being.
Such an important reminder. So it sounds like we've officially unpacked the daily Diet Coke dilemma. We've covered its history, the ingredients, the research, the expert opinions. I think our listeners have everything they need to make an informed choice.
I'd say mission accomplished. We've busted some myths, uncovered some interesting facts, and hopefully given everyone some food for thought, pun intended.
Huh. Well, it's been a blast exploring this topic with you. Always fascinating to delve into these everyday questions.
Absolutely. It's these seemingly simple questions that often lead to the most intriguing discoveries.
And to our amazing listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Remember, knowledge is power, and we always encourage you to keep asking questions, seeking out information, and making those informed choices about your health. Until next time, stay curious, stay hydrated, and keep those deep dive requests coming.
Yeah, it's about, like you said, the big picture, not just obsessing over every little thing.
Right. It's about enjoying life, but still, taking care of ourselves. And it's not just about what we eat and drink either.
Yeah, for sure.
There's exercise and stress and sleep. All that stuff matters too.
Totally. So I think we've pretty much covered the whole daily Diet Coke thing. We talked about the history, the ingredients, the research, the expert opinions. I think our listeners are ready to make their own choices now.
I think so too. We busted some myths, learned some cool facts. Hopefully gave everyone something to think about. Huh? Well, it's been great talking about this with you. Always fun to dig into these everyday things.
Hey, you never know what you're going to find.
And to all our awesome listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Remember, knowledge is power. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep making those smart choices about your health. Until next time, stay curious, stay hydrated, and keep those deep dive requests coming.